Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 6 of our Octave-Eying journey. You will have to forgive me. I have a massive headache today, but I feel like if you're paying attention, I've done a lot of work lately and had to battle some dark energy as it came in on my own. So, not to mention that with all the sun rays, like, have you paid attention to what's going on with the sun when I've been bringing through all the sun? Like, it's very real and in real time happening. So symptoms can come in. My head is on fire. I did actually have to take a half of an Excedrin because sometimes when I get these migraines, ever since I got that blood clot doing this work, they can be pretty severe. And even before that, I had some pretty severe ones. So I wanted to prevent the worst of it. And hopefully, I remember the last time I got a headache like this one was during the 8 days of birthing New Earth. The work is very real. I don't just say it, I'm truly doing it. I have a little bit of a message for today. What it means, I don't know, and what's going to come through today, I don't know. Yesterday, sorry about the inability to get that done. Zoom was out for a couple hours because of the solar flares. Like we had a power outage and like somewhere. And then Zoom and Spotify went down apparently. So I was like, that's cool. And then like all that energy, I felt the energy last night. Like my crown went, whoo. So, being in your heart space is extremely important. Being honest with self is extremely important. Remember, I do have to say is that procrastination, and the illusion of time is a shadow component. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Spirit wanted me to say that it is a shadow component. One of the courses I did was eliminating procrastination. So as I'm cleansing our space with Palo Santo, I've called in the creator and the angels and the energies from day 1 through day 5 already. I'm sorry we missed yesterday. By the time it came back on, I had to do a healing session last night and I just couldn't do it. I used to get healing exchanges until they decided to attack me in those, which they did, or like not, aligned to their purposes and things. So I even don't get those anymore at all. I heal myself completely. So it takes time. It takes everything I have sometimes to do these things. So forgive the little pause and days. So something big is rising. This is the message for today. Something big is rising, an uncomfortable shift, a karmic rift. Okay. Truths can't remain hidden anymore, either through you or through the collective soul, right? Truths can't remain hidden anymore. We just can't. If you do hear a beep or any noise in the background, just ignore it. I am uploading some stuff to my other video channels. Excuse me. And I have my dryer going because it's taken forever it's a little apartment dryer. It takes forever. And I don't want moldy clothes. So if you hear that, forgive that. All right. We are going to see what the cards have to say because I was drawn to pull my Urban Crow Oracle. Remember, tarot cards are now obsolete. They do not connect with a new earth. Also, on another note, it's not like I'm excited about this, but since I undid the Supreme Court justice and schools came out in that, have you seen how many school shootings we've had? Almost every day since. One yesterday, one today, like it's a lot. I think it was like Texas high school and now Florida. And didn't both of those states come through in that? I think so. So in the Supreme Court justice undoing, I kind of feel like I'm alone in these, which really sucks because I used to have people who would be like, and show it like, oh my God, look what you just did. I'm like, I know. I don't feel like I have that anymore. But anyway, so I'm like, oh, I'm alone in noticing this, but it's not like I'm celebrating the shootings. I don't want you to think that. Never would I want that. But since I undid the Supreme Court justice system in that video, I do believe I said Florida, and I do believe I said Texas, and maybe a couple other states. Those are where we're having shootings right now. And I also said that it was connected to the judicial system and the school system, right? They were connected. So I find that to be quite interesting. Quite interesting. All right, so truths cannot remain hidden. We have to be honest. And I remember on day 5, I said something about somebody not being honest with themselves, and a false agenda was rising. And it came out loud and clear. So make sure that you are being honest with yourself. Okay. Make sure that you are being honest with yourself. You know, I need to clear this. We do have sacred space and anomaly, but I'm going to clear that for just a second and see if that's truly what's trying to come out here. If it is, it'll come out again. My head is pounding. So I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know if I need an aspirin to avoid another blood clot in my head. All right. So what do we need to see for today? Show us. What is the message? All right. Yeah. So I finished my River of Justice thingy yesterday. And it's like, what do I do? You know, if nobody wants to support this work, what do I do? I have to rebuild from the ground up because those that rose with me brought a lot of negativity into the work that I did, and you can't do that. So it is like starting all over, and that's okay. I'm okay with being surrounded by love, and because now we're coming to a point where you can't bring anything else into this work, and I'm okay with that. But we have abundance, and we have luck, and then we have freedom. So in the River of Justice painting, it was loud and clear that, you know, they stole the value of money. They took everything from the divine. And they manipulated money into a darkness where there's fear and manipulation, and people became greedy. They value money over love. Money is more important over love. Not to mention that they judged me through money a lot. That was brought into the work. And so that energy was present. And when I went in through, I have to get you guys to understand, like hear me closely, because when I did this workshop recently, I went into the River of Justice, which is what they called it for me, or the River of Judgment. For those crossing it, it's the Nile. And that's where we're at. And it didn't dawn on me right away that that's what was happening, but it was painful. And I had to process all of the return of Christ. So Jesus rose from the river. The cross was processed out of my physical vessel because it's not real. It's the Ankh is the only real truth to the cross. It broke when they stole the DM's soul and wrote the Holy Grail and all that and ripped apart our souls, my DM and mine. So, you know, to understand is that we cannot bring the shadow side with us. We have to be pure sovereign. We have to be heart center driven. When you're fully in your heart center, and I've said these things many times, and somebody said to me, well, I thought it would be, I've said many times, is that you have to dig into everything. You have to dig into your why. You need to dig into your heart space. You need to dig into why you think you're not ready, because just dig into it, because is it a shadow component, right? We have to dig into everything. Procrastination is something to be aware of, because when God says do something, the shadow is going to say, no, you have time. And when God gives an opportunity, we have to utilize it, because you guys don't understand is this work I've done is very real, even if it's outside of our mind. And the ascension is here now. And those that rose with me were supposed to help others through. And I feel like I'm trying to get everybody to hear me, and there's like this blind wall. And so to me, I'm like, and I'm not trying to create fear in time, but what I'm saying is we have to utilize every moment because it takes a lot of healing, right? And so if we just wait and wait and wait, we've missed a lot. If we choose not to see and dig into our whys, we miss a lot of healing opportunities, because when something rises, it's important in that time. And it's even important to just dig into our why, you know. If you're doing something, it's not important as to why. The why is very important. And so even money is coming out. Consider I undid the money matrix. I undid the medical matrix. We are going to be tested in those things. And I feel it. I've been feeling it for some time. So abundance and luck and all of these things comes from a high vibration. We need a high vibration of love and sovereignty. That's what freedom talks about, is being free from the things that bind and blind, being free from the shackles of the matrix reality. There is abundance in it. And I remember Amy saying all the time is like, it was a lie. She would get so upset when I would get my abundance keys. I remember that, and I would be attacked like every time. So that's what the shadow does. They were bringing the shadow through. They weren't doing their own job in pushing past the resistance and digging into why. And Spirit said that loud and clear in her coaching, is that she's not pushing. She just assumed that all I wanted was her money and like all of this kind of stuff. And it was quite hurtful. I've had people throw money at me about the path to righteousness. Like, how dare I charge for that? God told me to, because money is not more important than love. Why couldn't I? You know what I mean? Like, we have to cleanse things. We have to understand that we are creators. No matter what's happening in my environment, what I can do is not worry, not think ahead, not think behind, think in the now, focus on my vibration, and remove all of lack. And even if others have hurt me, even if others devalue my work, and even if others um, assume that I'm something that I'm not, or whatever the case may be, that can't stop us, right? What others do can't stop us. What others think can't stop us. Everything is a choice hidden in disguise. Remember that. All choices matter, and they're all hidden. They seem very subtle, but they're massive, and they change everything. Okay? So be honest with yourself. Look into your why in all things that you do. Procrastination is resistance, and it's part of a wound. Okay, it's part of victimhood consciousness too. What is victimhood consciousness? It's power depletion. We cannot come out of the matrix and not feel like that, because we have to call that power back. Okay, so we all will process that at different stages and in different ways. And it's our job to look at everything and go, okay, is this a test of the matrix? Something's being brought up. I need to do this, right? So talk to God, talk to Creator, but you have to know that, people can pretend, but when it's truthful, you can't deny. It can't be undone. You know what I'm saying? When it's truly aligned, when it's truthful, because the work that I do is very real. There's no need to make it up. There's no need to assume. It's internal. It's from the heart space. Um, and when you are aligned to that, it's mind-boggling journey. We couldn't fake it, right? You don't want to fake it till you make it. That's a lie. So all of those things, we don't want to paint things a color they're not. We don't want to pretend something is what it isn't. And we don't want to blame others. Everything's a reflection of us. So the shadow works against everybody in the same ways. And I've said that before, so I could say Amy and I could say Descent. They had big purposes. And so the resistance is very loud, and the shadow temptations are very loud. It's also part of their karmic past. And they just, again, did not choose to rise up. They chose to allow the resistance to win and to take my light. And that's what they did from the beginning of time. So it takes strength, it takes honor, it takes value, and it takes the right heart. Okay. Love being more important. Love isn't a word, it's an intention. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. That's what came through for the message today. So let's get into day 6. Okay. So I call on the creator of all that is, and all the angels too, and all the guides to be with me. So I'm trying to, so there was something I used to come up a lot when Amy was around, and it's about, the true, I can't ever think of the word. Our true character is shown in the toughest of times. Our true character is not defined when things are easy. It is not defined when we can lie and manipulate. That's not true character. You can fool anybody, like this whole Katy Perry space saga. I channeled about that. I can put on a facade, but when it comes down to everything, can it be undone? What's real cannot. True character shows in the toughest of situations. True character shows when everything else breaks down. Okay, so I don't know why I said that, but it needed to come out. All right. I feel like shiitake mushrooms, so you just bear with me. I really do. My head hurts, it's been a lot of stress. I had to battle a lot of dark energies recently to do all that work, to do this work. And not only that, when I bring down the sun, you guys, it's very real. I'm literally using my energy. I'm pulling down the sun. I'm drawing in the light. I don't just say these things. Like, it takes everything I have. It really does. And then it's like, why do I go? Oh, I wish it was easy for me, like everybody else, right? Oh, other healers they never have these times. And like, I even look at De La Roca and I'm like, yeah, it's easy for him. He ain't doing all this stuff on top of that and alone. You know what I mean? With like constant battle on the DM side, constant people rising with me and bringing their shadow forward, not wanting to do the work. And it's like, ah, oh, I get tired, but that's no excuse, right? It's no excuse. I still look to do better. So I'm just gonna keep looking to do better. I gotta do better. I gotta do better. I gotta better myself. I gotta improve myself. What can I do? But my body is getting older and it's like, screw you, lady. Screw you, lady. I wake up, I exercise every day. I'm actually losing a little bit of weight now. I'm excited. Can't always tell that, but I can. I can tell with the way things fit. I can wrap my towel around me again. Like I can tell. So I'm working hard, right? And it's about balance from the heart center. And that's what we have here is we will find abundance and luck through sovereignty only because the matrix system is dying. So if you think things are going to stay the same, they are not. That's an illusion. A balance will only be found when we are free from the shackles that bind. Okay, abundance. You know, that when we're soul path aligned, that's when miracles can flow because it's the difference between a heart path or a matrix path. Okay, and one is cut off. And like I said, when I was doing that painting, is that I remember putting money in the portal, one of the first portals I did, the portal of time, I believe it was. Money has its own karmic kickback. And we don't want to focus on greed and fear and value money over people, value money over the work, assume negativity. Like I had that happen, negativity towards me about money when I used to do everything for free because it was a gift. And God said, no, no, do this, do that, do this. So it's money's not more important, right? Love is, and honor and seeing through the right lens to me is much more important. So those kinds of things. They use money for darkness, right? People have killed each other for money. And I remember before Amy left the group and everything, I said, I'm not going to allow money to continue to hurt me. And she had thrown in my face, just go get a fucking job. You know what I mean? And I'm like, when I do that, I can't align with my DM because it's not my heart center. I have to be heart center aligned. And so it's a constant kicking me down and then me trying to battle up. And I would allow myself to get out of balance because if everybody else hates me, why not hate myself? I went there a couple times. Everybody else hates this journey. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Um, and I've gotten to the point where I won't do that anymore. We can't let others devalue us or yourself, right? Okay, so I think everything's been said that needs to be said. So that's why the river of justice turned to silver and gold, because money is being turned back to the divine. Everything's coming back to the divine. So we have to come from our heart space, pure love, love being our guide, instant manifestation, instant creations. And we only do that when our heart is pure and wide open and our vibration is high. We're in balance from our soul path creations because we all have a gift. We all have something to give back, but you're going to find that hidden behind the shadows in the heart space. Okay, because it's soul path compared to matrix path components. So it's not in our consciousness. And I can tell a difference when I'm not heart centered. I don't hear the nudges of the heart. Or if I hear one and I go against it, you become blind. So the nudges of the heart are when you are truly heart-centered, when everything, I literally focus on the heart. I heal into the heart. I've had to push through some dense energies, and anything that comes up, you have to do it without hesitation. That's how you clear your karma. Okay. All right, so day 6 applied. Day 1 through day 5 has come before. Day 5 was quite large, and again, I felt alone in that, but that's okay. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. I see the work, I see the value in the work, and I see how massive the work is. So I'm over here like, this is so cool. And it, others can't see it yet. You can't expect somebody to see past their shadow, but that's okay, and it's not about fear. Remember that. To me, it's like, yay, God's home. I'm home. The light's coming back. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm good. So our lens is everything. So just keep that in mind. Pure sovereign being of light. Remember, the shadow likes dishonesty. Okay. Somebody needs to break free from a false value system. That's what I'm hearing. It's a false value system. They are focused in a false value system. Okay. I don't know who that resonates with. It's just what's coming through. So I call forth the creator and all the angels and beings of light, our Pleiadian beings of healing light that we each have, all 3 of them. Called forth all days from the days before. Day 5 was that bubble of love and light. So I call forth that. My head hurts super bad, so just bear with me. I keep hearing this. So honor and breaking away from a false value system. Where is honor and true value? And I feel like if we're willing to lie to ourselves, we are willing to lie to anyone, right? If we are willing to lie to others, we're willing to lie to ours. It kind of goes both ways. And this has to do with the false agenda, has to do with the collective and individual soul of the shadow side of things. And the matrix system is a false value system. That's what I'm hearing. To value money is a false value system. To give it false value, false intent, power. It should not have power over us. And I know they created a world where you have bills. I have bills too. We all do. It's the wrong lens. That's lack. So right now, I'm being drawn right into the solar plexus. I'm going to call in our crystalline grid from the days before and up to today, our ascension grid. And I want you to see yourself sitting around that crystal pyramid in the center, just as the days before. And I see our 3 Pleiadian beings of light coming in, and they're going to cleanse off because I feel like all this pain on my backside, my shoulders, my neck, my head. Excuse me. So they're actually removing energy from mine and giving back to which it came from. And same with you guys. It's like removing energy that does not belong to us and giving it back to which it came from, never to return again. Either taking other people's light or negative it. It doesn't matter. Whatever is not ours, it doesn't belong. They are removing it. And I can actually really feel that. I have to say this because it's coming out. So the matrix system has stolen the light. That's what they did. They were fallen. They were connected to the light, and they were taking the light to control and manipulate and divide and create a false system. Okay. And I noticed that with those that rose with me, even up into recently. When I called my power back and I cut them off from that power, from my solar plexus, from my light, they became a different person. When they were in my light and taking that light and using that light, they were more confident. They were like all of these things. And the moment, and like aligned with what I was doing and things. And then the moment I took that back, because spirit did it. So it was like intervention, healing and removing them from my solar plexus. Just had actually put out a guided healing to take my path, to take my light and to integrate into my solar plexus. And when we finally removed all of those that were connected to that, it's like a different person. And I feel like I can't get through. Like I see that even to this day. It's like, I don't know you anymore. Like, who are you? I can't get through to you. You don't hear me. And I'm saying this for a reason, because the matrix. So in day 6 of birthing the new earth, we call back all light. We're not just detaching from the matrix. You guys have to understand is, if you truly watch all of my work, the matrix becomes a nothingness. They become nothingness. I truly connected them off of life support. So in day 6, day 5 and day 6, and the matrix side of birthing the new earth, it becomes like just like El Diablo, all the fallen completely lose the heartbeat of light. They cannot connect anymore. They cannot steal that light anymore. Duality is really done. And so when you don't choose to rise with the light, you actually lose the light. And you become completely detached. So that's where the matrix is at now. So this brings me into day 6 of birthing the new earth. We're getting ready to call back all the light. So I mean, it can't be duality anymore. We're getting ready to call back all of the light. And it is different from when they're connected to the light. Like they have that connection, it's all aligned, it's all internal. And then it was taken away. And then all of a sudden it's like, I can't get through. They're not hearing, they're not seeing. It's like a completely different person. And I've seen that happen now a few times. So we have to, that's what's happening to the matrix right now. And that's what Spirit's saying for day 6. So we're sitting in the center, and I'm finally seeing this was all purposeful and all part of today. So there is the pyramid in the center, and then we have the pyramids with the angels behind me. Fiji and Kilimanjaro were still in the energy, but now I'm actually hearing Ecuador. Ecuador, which was another masculine pyramid, and Myanmar, which is a female pyramid. Ecuador, masculine, and Myanmar, female. And I'm hearing these two coming in the front and center of everything today, Ecuador and Myanmar. So it's another masculine and feminine connection coming in. And so those are the first ones that are going to receive light today. And then it's going to trickle out all to the rest. They all will receive light. But Ecuador and Myanmar are two pyramids. So masculine and feminine pyramids are going to receive that light today together, like a little bit ahead of the other ones. And our Pleiadian beings light are still cleansing out our energy. I can feel it. So they're octave-eying. It's like cleansing out vibrations that don't align. Ours. And it's almost like they're using like this stick with like a crystal ball on the end of it. And that's how it looks in my mind's eye, is the Pleiadian beings of light are using that on our energy. Yeah, so there was a hidden agenda that was exposed for sure. And I can see it by reactions as well, and what we're paying attention to and what we're refusing to see. So we have to be very mindful of that. Never about right and wrong. It's just about where the shadow is. Remember, God is unconditional love. So if you're seeing things in others, we can't like, it's a reflection of you. Okay. So that do it my way was another reflection that others were kind of reflecting upon too. And so the reason these are brought up is so that we can see them, because we're supposed to dig through them. And for whoever it relates to, it's not going to relate to both of you. Seasons of change are amongst you. It's time to see things rearrange. From seasons of weather to light and moon too. It's time to see things rearrange. It's time to see things of strangeness, of differences and nature shift and change. I remember too doing a video where their chemtrails, I like made them kind of implode into themselves, and they're actually making those illegal. They're like battling to make those illegal. They think it's weather pattern aligned, but I've cut off their ability to really affect the earth. What they do, though, is poison our air and mankind. Anyways, that was just another memory. I'm not so sure people see it, the totality of the relation of what I do to what's unfolding now, but it's massive. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I did that. Just watch the videos. Okay. Seasons adrift and rift a change. Big changes are amongst us. A system of value often rearranged. So devaluing the false value system. So we are just seeing ourselves sitting by the crystals, the grid, the pyramids behind us, the angels. There's lions stepping forward. And then our Pleiadian beings of light are using this beautiful like crystal ball, but it's like kind of clear, but it's carrying a lot of energy and light. And that's what they're using. And I can feel the texture. It's like an important tool of healing. And they're using that to help calm our energy and to start to break down vibrations that don't align. And I'm going to start bringing in the sunlight now. So bringing down the sun ever so gently from the heavens above, lots of sun and rays of red and orange. So red and orange rays with the sun. Cosmic rays of red and orange aligned with the sun. We have Ecuador and Myanmar combining today. And this is talking about a departure of a false value system. So bringing down the sun into the pyramids, a departure of a false value system. And I feel like what I have to say is like the Matrix was the one that was surface and like to push things that were not true, that like to make us see things a different color they're not. And God asks us to be authentic and true and to dig through those and to not allow lies to come through. So false value system being broken down. Sovereignty, sometimes being humble, letting others judge you. We can't avoid that. That's a shadow. But if we let their judgment control what we do, then we become part of that judgment. And that's what got Gigi was judgment. So I can see the layers of the shadow and which one they gave their power to, unfortunately. And we don't want people to do that, but we can't stop them either. Amy was procrastination, power, and she had an agenda. She thought she could do it all her way, and think that I valued money more than anything because she valued money more than anything. So, those are all the things, and you can see where they give their power away and how the shadow works. And then you can be like, wow, I'm seeing that's resonating through me. I got to heal that, right? Okay. Breaking down a false value system. So the light, the Pleiadian beings of light are going into our subconscious programming, our synapses of the brain, our subconscious programming, all lives combined, right? We are in the end times. That's not a maybe. It's a great reset of mankind, which means none of your past lives exist anymore. They've all been combined into one, and we either rise up or we go start somewhere else. Okay. All over again. It's a great reset. So yeah. And I keep hearing devaluing a false value system. That's what we're doing today. Ecuador and Myanmar combined. So the Pleiadian beings are going into the subconscious programming. They're allowing you to see the value system that's not yours, either from the matrix or karmic related, right? So you have two parts of the shadow, the structure of the matrix, which is the collective shadow, and then you have the individual shadow, which is where we give our power away. And within the both of those, you have your family ties of values. So those that were instilled upon us generally come from the matrix component of things. And it is where we were taught from a very young age to give our power away to and to have it be valuable to do so. So this is a part of that, okay? It's a breakdown of the false value system and hidden agendas. So we're bringing down massive rays of the sun, massive rays. So I'm like reaching up to the sun, and on like this top right side of the sun, it's like an untouched portion of the sun. It's something I haven't drawn a chunk down from before. And I feel like I'm taking a big, huge, massive chunk out of it. Like I'm reaching up and it's part of the sun that's about to face us. I gotta say that. And I'm reaching up and I'm taking a huge, massive chunk out of it and ripping it down into the earth. So this is like, whoa, bam, like a big new chunk from the sun. A big new chunk from the sun. That's very real. It's like a new piece of the sun that's about to turn towards us, like now. And I'm taking a big chunk and shoving it down into the earth through Ecuador and Myanmar first. Those are very important. And it talks about a false value system that leaves you blind and a hidden agenda following from the other day to today. And as I do that, I do see some fires. I see things that don't align being affected. So one of those ways is burning, right? The elements will come into play because they have their own karmic kickback. So kind of like Ecuador on fire, if that's going to be real physically or energetically, a breakdown of a system, I don't know. It remains to be seen. Sometimes it's actual physical. But when I'm taking this big, huge chunk of the sun and shoving it through Ecuador and Myanmar at the same time, I see it kind of like burning away Ecuador. But I feel like it's like representative of a false value system. And that's going down and through the pyramids. And now I'm bringing in that chunk, like taking more from that chunk of the sun, a different space of the sun, just making this huge mass hole, huge mass coronal hole, right? Like, whoa, taking another piece and I'm shoving it down through all pyramids. And then with red rays and yellow or orange rays, red and orange rays of the cosmic flow. Pleiades galaxy involved. So with those red and orange rays, I'm seeing 7D energy base. And it's coming down and going through the pyramid. So it went through Ecuador and Myanmar, and now the rest of the pyramids and the angels' hearts of purity cleansing. So it's doubled. This energy is doubled. We're getting ready for the big event where all the light is called back. So it's truly detaching the matrix from the light as we speak. They are becoming dormant. They are becoming cut off from life support completely. It won't be like they'll just get to stay as they were. That's not the case. They are, and if you watch day 6 of birthing the new earth, they literally lose the heart connection, the heartbeat of life and light. Because that's what they were using. It's where they stemmed from. That's what they were doing for power and control. Duality was never part of the plan. And then on day 6, we call all that light back. So only pure light will rise. Because we can't combine those two. It just won't combine. It's not about punishment, it's an undoing of what was done in a karmic kickback. We have to pay karma now. Lessons outside of love, that's duality. Sovereign being of light, being free, free of false value system. Lack. So this is all very important. It's going back to the cards. So luck talks about lack. Abundance talks about the other side of those is lack. Okay. And so this is an undoing of the false value system. No wonder I just finished that painting now. Sometimes I feel like I'm off in time, but I'm not. I'm right on time. And I keep fighting. It's amazing. So I can see like ruby, red rays, ruby rays, and orange, beautiful orange rays. So that's our root, isn't it? And our sacral chakra connection as well, and kind of expanding our foundation and power system into the light and undoing a false system of values, which had an agenda that was outside of God. You cannot take the power of light for your own agenda. We can't do that. We have to be sovereign beings within the layers of the land, within the all connectedness with God at the hub of everything. Because it's that light. It's the feminine light. Eve was the original creation of light. And then Adam was her twin soul, split from her soul to protect her. And balance, and the earth is masculine, feminine's balance. It's all connected. So we are the earth. And if you watch Birthing New Earth, you'll see that. The earth is mine. And when I process the earth's death, it's my DNA. It processed through my vessel for a reason. And that was painful. Woo! This is all making more sense to me, and I did the work. I'm seeing it clearly. Breakdown of a false value system and a false agenda. And we are starting now to cut off the darkness from the light more and more and more, because we're about to call all light home. The end is close. Like it's the shift in light, the shift in frequency is here. Like it's happening piece by piece. That's why you don't want to wait. You want to take the opportunities as they rise. And if we don't think we're ready, it's just because of fear or it's procrastination based. Those are the things. Like it's being willing to, when God calls, it's so to trust. And you have to understand is that God's not here to hurt you. Everything will happen in the time it's meant to happen for you, through your blueprint, through your needs, through your you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's illusions that we have to be aware of. Yep, false illusion system. Illusions of grandeur. That's what those falls into, is time is one of them. Either being afraid or thinking we have time. It's whenever things are there is when we need to do them. And if we're in the here and the now, it's not so scary. And if you think like nobody was really ready, we never think we're really ready, but in truth, we are. It's just that the system, it's like, "Rah!" You know what I mean? It's like, does that make sense? Fear or false ideas or thinking ahead or behind is what makes us feel not ready. But it's just time. It's time, my friends. It's time. The time is always now. So a false value system, bringing down more light now, another chunk of the sun, like right underneath that one. This is like up to the top right. It's about to swing towards Earth at like a whole big, huge area. And I'm just taking it, but it's like fresh sun. This is like untouched portion of the sun that I haven't pulled from before. And I'm just taking a big old chunk and shoving it down into Ecuador and Myanmar. And like false value system undone. And then I do see the element of fire. And our Pleiadian beings of light are also like upping the Octave-Eying through our system to help us undo a false value system, which I don't feel like I'm getting a lot, but I feel like it's because I don't have a lot of that. I feel like for me, it has to do with newly developed lack because of what happened to me and what everybody kept throwing at me, and taking that light of mine really lowered my vibration. So I've been working really hard. I recognize that already. and I already don't align to my parents' value system. Like I've healed all that a long time ago. So I can see the difference. I feel like you guys are getting a lot more healing in this one than I am, but they're still healing me on my level. But it has to do with value system. Okay, the false value system. And that could be many things. It could be something deeply embedded from our roots, right? Conditioning of all things, the matrix, always from the matrix, basically. More of the false concept of time. Hidden agenda rising, and a system of false values. What's more valuable to you? What's truly valuable to you? Being able to really see that, but we must be honest with ourselves. You don't want to hide things and you don't want to paint them a color you're not because it's uncomfortable. It's not about comfortability. That's an ego thing. Who cares, right? Who cares what people think? It may be difficult. That's okay, right? Our lens is everything. So keep the lens attuned to, you know what? It's okay. It's all about where love was not. So I'm thankful. So I can actually feel the octave-eying happening, and I'm feeling it towards my heart space. So our Pleiadian beings are cleansing it out. It's like these beautiful magical wands with this crystal ball at the end, filled with mass vibration, like very high frequency. And we're eliminating the false value system through Ecuador and Myanmar, and then the other pyramids. So I'm going to take another chunk of the sun. And remember, it's the sun and moon combined, they're not separate. And so I'm taking that and bringing it down through Ecuador and Myanmar, down through the pyramids into the crystals, down into the core, and then it's octaving out through the atmosphere, through the trees. The trees were in the Schumann resonance again. Why is that? Because the work that I did, I put the Christ light through the trees, not the 144,000, through the trees. So they were actually reflecting in the Schumann resonance again. I was like, yeah, while all this stuff is happening, I'm like, how can you deny the work I've done? Only those with shadow could, you know what I mean? Or that don't have God in their heart. Like, it's so cool to me. I'm like, ah. I don't think people understand. I have family in California. You know, they could have heard me a long time ago. Matter of fact, I have a cousin that lives there. And when I first had my awakening, she was pregnant. And I was like, it's a girl. And they said, nope, doctor said it's a boy. And I'm like, no, it's a girl. And they're like, no, doctor said it's a boy. Turns out she gave birth to a girl and the doctors were wrong. And so they saw that I was correct and they still fell off a while ago. So even with proof, just like God said with Revelations and why people won't rise, is even with proof, they'll choose to fall into the false disguise, a false value system, false agenda system, false values. We don't like truths. We would rather sit in uncomfortable lies because they're comfortable. So we don't like uncomfortable truths. We would rather sit in comfortable lies. And so if they didn't want to hear, they didn't want to watch all the work, I'm not going to force them. You know, it's up to them. And I also have faith in God, that God is more in control and at a soul level that everybody has a plan for their own play out that they've chosen. But I can feel the octave-eying. So my frequency is rising. It's like, so we are separating. We are separating from the darkness. The light is rising now. I can see it. The light is rising. It's what I've been doing. And we must be free of that shadow to rise. It's true. So you've already been being tested. Everything is a lesson and a test and a choice hidden in disguise. And those are our karmic choices. And procrastination, time is a poison. Now is always the time. We don't know what that means either. So we can't assume or project or judgment, right? Just be and observe and align. They don't happen to you, they happen through you. Octave-Eying, the false values system. So bringing down another chunk of the sun. This time it's at the bottom side. So I'm just ripping out a whole another chunk. So we are preparing for a big one. It's true. There's big things coming. So this one is a big, huge chunk of the sun. And I'm like, as I'm shoving it down into Ecuador and Myanmar, I feel like I'm expanding the pyramids. Like they need to expand to take this on. And we have in the energy Archangel Jophiel and Archangel Gabriel kind of reflecting through these. And then we have red and orange rays coming down through the pyramids. They are octave-eying. The pyramids are alive. I've woken them up. I've activated them with Christ light, with my light. They are vibrant. They're vibrating in the earth, and it's what's taking us up. It's shifting the vibration. So I hope you guys understand that, because it's outside of our mind, and that's going through that and into the crystals and into the core and out through the trees. And that is where I talked about we're photosynthesizing. It's changing the DNA. And the DNA that didn't activate, that is duality, cannot align. It's just time. But you guys, what I'm seeing is undoing this false value system, the darkness is now losing life support to their heart. So we're starting to call light home. This is very real. And I'm seeing it over all the work that I've done. I kept saying that and I kept saying that. And just because it didn't happen right then, I was showing you it was coming. And now we're here. Now we're here. Everything's a choice. And those choices are everything. I know it's not easy, but if it was, we wouldn't grow. It's about soul growth. And I can see, so with you guys, I feel like it's much more entailed to undo a false value system than with myself, but they're still octaving. I can feel my vibration shifting. And you guys are getting deep healing of a hidden value system. Where are your values really? You're going to be able to see that. I feel like it's reflecting, and it will more. So that we can detach from a false value system. That's what our soul is being called for. Freedom. Freedom. I can feel like vibrations. I'm literally vibrating from the inside out. And now the earth is being blanketed by the ruby and orange rays. And then Ecuador is heightened more than Myanmar. And I feel like, I don't know why, maybe because we've already had a huge energy release from Myanmar. But I'm literally shoving light into Ecuador and Myanmar. It's masculine and feminine. I haven't touched Ecuador much since I activated it. But with Ecuador, I feel like what doesn't align burns. False value system applied. So this one's really affecting the masculine side. And the sun is just vibrating. And I do see some fires sparking up, like on tree lines, just fires sparking up. I don't know if that will physically happen or if it's like just a fall of a false value system. It could be both. It could be just whatever. It just remains to be seen. Sometimes it really is the fires. I've said that many times in pyramid work. I'm like, fires, fires, I see fires. Some set by malicious intent and some not. And that really did play out in real time. So, and then I also said fires in California. And I didn't specifically say California, but I said California right after I said fire. So I predicted those as well. It wasn't just a prediction. It's because as Christ light comes in, what doesn't align burns, because the energies are too vastly different. And that's why in birthing new earth, you see the divide. On one side, it looks like burning lava pits of hell. And on the other side, it's all, ah. That's the splitting of the two worlds. To think that people can just rise and stay the same, they were using God's light to do that. You can't do it anymore. So they're literally going to be just massive nothing until it breaks apart. It's like if you take the heartbeat and the lifeline, what do they have left? They won't have any power left, only being shackled and bound together. Karma. It's not punishment. It's karma. It's just not being able to do that. So it's like I've taken back our light. You just can't do it anymore. And you either choose to rise or you don't. Some will go, some will stay, and some will never know life this way. And the ones that never know life this way are shackled and bound to the fiery, burning pits of nothingness. That's the dark side of things. You know what I'm saying? But it depends on where your heart is for all of it. So value system. So that speaks very loudly to that. Like what really matters to you. So we are truly taking the light back from the shadow. They are being cut off from life support more and more and more. So they can't read what we're doing anymore. They can't read what's coming, and they can't use that light and power for their personal gain and agenda. They can't do it anymore. So one more time, big chunks of the sun. This one's going to come right out of the center of the sun. Ooh, we're getting closer to the eye. That was the big event when I took us through the lotus, the eye of the lotus, the eye of the sun. So it's going to come from the center, okay? But right now I'm taking it from the center of the sun and I'm shoving it down through Ecuador and Myanmar. And I see, boom, lots of it's like a big massive energy wave, like boom, just came in, you guys. It's not a joke. So as I took from the center of the sun, I brought it down through Ecuador and Myanmar, and it's more reflective on the Ecuador side, but it's like this big boom atomic wave of energy just went through there. I could see it like knock everything down, like an atomic wave of energy just blasted through there, and then it's going down all the pyramids into the crystal grid, into the core, and out through the trees to photosynthesize. So the trees are processing the DNA and allowing everybody to access it through her. The more they heal and align to her, the more they can rise. But that's the DM in my DNA. So you have to understand the totality of what I've done. That's why I tell people you can't pick and choose. I see people who ignore the return of Christ work and think they can get everything they need from my Healing Light Movement channel. And I'm like, we're smarter than that. You can't lie to yourself and you can't bypass the work, you know? Just, it's boggling. It's what the shadow likes to do, though. And so what can I do? Send them love and light. And I'm finally getting back to that. Even though everybody else kind of sucked the life out of me, the shadow did. I'm getting back to that. Can't beat shadow with shadow. Just sprinkle them with light because it doesn't align anyways. False agenda applied. Detaching from the value system. So a little bit more from the core, the center of the sun. This one's just a little bit more, not a lot yet, but the shift has begun. Okay, I need you to hear that. The shift has already begun. It's already happening in real time. And so I take that down through Ecuador, Myanmar, and again, one more little wave of like boof. It's like, it looks like an atomic bomb of energy. It's like boom, coming off that pyramid. affecting both Myanmar and Ecuador together because they've just connected into one kind of, but really hitting Ecuador. So it's really hitting the masculine side of things. And it's like this massive wave of energy shift. I need to reiterate that because that's very real. And that's what this has done. And then it goes out through the trees to photosynthesize God's DNA. And you must connect to that. That's why those V's were pushed, because they deactivate your DNA. They change your DNA. You can't align to it. And some of the animals don't either. Unfortunately, they've been too modified. Yeah, so we have shifted a few octaves. So the light is now like up here, and the shadow is now becoming down here. So we truly are separating. The shift is now. The earth is shifting, and a false agenda is being broken down. And so your like value system that doesn't align, the value system of a matrix that was instilled and regurgitated to you and through you through many lifetimes, will reflect very loudly, and it's meant to, so that way you can clear it. Okay, the time is now. Like, we can't wait to do it. We have to do the work now as it rises. So remember that. There was my video. And I'm like all kinds of tingling. So yep, our Pleiadian beings of light are done. They have amplified the false value system so that it can fully rise out. And then we must choose the one of light. And we have Octave-Eyed through Ecuador and Myanmar, and new chunks of the sun, including the core. That's different. I've never done that one before. So that's how I know for sure we're getting close to the final one, because these are mass rays. And then I literally saw the energy wave go whom and like knock over plant life and everything, like almost like an atomic wave of sun going through Ecuador. It was massive. So false value system breakdown. This is new earth applied. So birthing new earth, it wasn't just birthing new earth. The matrix side was being cut off. That's happening right now. It's big. This is big. This is everything I've done led me to this point. It's amazing. It's quite amazing. And no wonder my butt's been kicked lately. And I've been working so hard to remove any remaining energies that weren't mine. So that's where we end this one. Your false value system will rise to reflect. So pay attention to all details and do not paint things colors they are not. Be willing to be honest, but you don't need to reflect that back to others. And please don't call anybody into those energies. You need to see it, to reflect it through you, to heal it. Okay? Never not dig. Dig through everything. The time is now. All right? Why do I do the things I do is important. Very important. Why do I procrastinate? Why was I afraid? Those are the questions we need to dig through. The whys into why, right? Taking off all masks of illusion. That's the most important part. And I've said that from the beginning. So to say things when people hear you and then suddenly see them not hear you anymore when you call back your own power is jarring. But I've seen it again. So just know that these are the things I've been saying the whole time. Okay. Use your time wisely, dig through everything, and God's got your back. Nothing's happening against you and nothing is to you, but it's an opportunity to rise through the light that not everybody's given. Not everybody's given that opportunity. So honor and joy and the lens. Be very mindful of your lens. And what is not that, don't reflect that back to God. Realize that's just a shadow and heal it. Okay? So much love. We are going to not end this one out, but end it out. It's going to carry on into day 7. But day 6 was about detaching from false seasons, false value system. So this is reflecting into birthing the new earth, day 4, 5, and 6 now. And I also took from the center of the sun, which is not normal. That takes me into the Eye of Lotus, which is the event soon. So much love to all of you. Have a beautiful day. Day 6 complete. Ground and keep going.